What's good, guys? This is your boy CS back with a part 3 of the Leverage Lounge trading sessions. So you guys voted to start from beginner levels, basically from scratch. So the very first thing you need to do is download, or if you're on PC or your laptop, go into the web browser of a reputable exchange. The tier 1 exchanges are Coinbase, Binance, OKX, and Bybit. Obviously, Bybit's just recently had the hack, but it still doesn't demote them from being a tier 1 exchange because they have the funds, like $1 billion, to back it up with from their cold wallet and warm wallet. So when you're using exchanges, you want to make sure that the exchange won't go bankrupt, because many exchanges last cycle are no longer here. Only a few of them are here that are under a tier 1, which are Mexi, KuCoin, Gate.io, and only a few others. Basically, all the other exchanges are quite new. So Blowfin, I can't recall that being here last cycle, so I think this is pretty new. But for the purposes of this video, we're going to be using Blowfin. All other exchange platforms are very similar, so I'm going to be using the mobile app. So once you've downloaded it, you'll have an interface like this. And if you remember, I took this Pepe short on the last session just for illustration purposes, which we'll come on to a bit later on. But what you normally do is you go into the wallet, so you click the bottom right, and on your actual account, you'll have deposit, withdraw, and transfer. So you'll have 3 separate accounts. You'll have funding, you'll have spot, and you'll have futures or contract, depending on which exchange it is. So on Blowfin, what you would do is you would deposit your USDT, your Tether, or your Solana, or your Ethereum, your AVAX, whatever coin it would be that it takes into this. So you can either use Coinbase and then send the coins over. So let's take an example. If I use Coinbase or Kraken and I want to send Solana over, I deposit it by clicking somewhere here. Obviously, it doesn't show on the demo account. And then once I've deposited it, I need to transfer it from my funding to my spot account. And then from my spot account, I'll go into Solana here, and then I'll click sell. And then however much Solana I've got, I will then sell that Solana, right? And then that will give me USDT Tether. Basically, in order to trade, you need Tether. So if you can just send Tether straight to your exchange, straight to Blowfin, then great, no issues from there. Once you've got it, you then transfer it. There'll be like a transfer button somewhere around here, from your spot to your futures. So notice these bottom 2 tabs here. You got futures account and you got spot account. So just for this illustration, we've got spot SOL, and then we've got SOL USDT perp. So perp means perpetuals trading, ultimately futures leverage. That's what that means, perpetuals. Anything with the same synonyms basically means that you're trading with leverage. Whilst on spot, it's a 1-to-1 ratio, so you will never trade on leverage. That's the big difference between the 2 accounts. Anyway, for the purposes of this video, for the beginner level, what you would then do is you'd see this bit at the top, which is margin mode. So you notice you've got 2. You've got cross and you've got isolated. So cross, as it states there, all cross positions under the same margin asset share the same asset cross margin balance. So for this illustration, as I gave Pepe, if I want to share my margin, let's say I've got 51 grand in this demo account, but let's say I have $1,000, right? And I want to share the margin, share that money between 2 coins, where if one goes, if one is in profit, it covers the other coin that's not in as much profit, or if it's in a loss. For instance, let's look at this, right? If I just market sell, and I'll come on to these in just a minute. Notice how I'm on 619 or 496, right? In the negative, whilst in Pepe I'm in 1,000 plus. Notice the liquidation level in orange where it says 75309 for Pepe, and the liquidation price for WIF is 2.6672 at the moment. But notice how it keeps fluctuating. If it goes into profit for WIF, the liquidation price will, well, because it's a short, will go up. And if I was buying it, it would go down the liquidation price, therefore balancing out the margin between the two positions. So yeah, if you just have a basic read, in the event of a liquidation, your assets, blah, blah, blah. So what would happen if one of them does good and one of them goes bad? So let's say Pepe's in 1,000 plus profit, and WIF is in 1,000 minus, in a loss, in a hole. That would mean that your positions are balancing out. But if WIF and Pepe are both in minus 1,000 or 500 in this illustration, they will both get wrecked. Both positions would be absolutely demolished, right? Now, let's take PopCat. I'm going to close that. If I choose an isolated position, right? And whatever, I'll just do that. What happens with the isolated position is it gives me a liquidation level of 1490, which will not move. It will stay fixed. And what I can do is I can click this plus icon. Notice there on the cross, you can't click where margin is. But on PopCat, on this position, I can click plus. So then I can start adding $50, which then adds my liquidation price to $14.79. Let's say I want to reduce it even further, right? And add 10%. I go now to 0.498. Do you see where I'm going with this? So, and then if I wanted to remove it 50%, it now moves up to 0.993. Gives me more freedom to then use that money in something else, such as my Pepe short. So this is the difference between isolated positions and cross positions. Cross, you're just basically crossing them with all positions on the table. Whilst isolated means it's fixed. Whatever position you take on that coin, it's fixed and isolated to that position. You can add and remove to change your liquidation prices. Now, for the purposes of this trade of, let's say Pepe, right? What we can do is we can click this plus icon, and you can also do it on PopCat. But at the bottom left, it says TP and SL, right? At the bottom left, TP, SL. So we can see our entry price is 509645, right? So if we put 409645, when the price reaches that price, it will trigger a market order and you will lose nothing. You will lose 0 tether. So we want to put that in. That will cover us. And if we wanted to take profit, so let's say, if we look here, our entry price is where we entered. Last price is what the current price is. And the mark price is also very similar in terms of what the standing of the price is right now. If we say we want to close this position at 507800, what will happen is, if this comes down, currently it's at 7892. If it comes down to 7800, that will close this whole position at that profit. So what we can do is we can take a partial one, actually. Let's say 5078. Oh, it's because I've already got that one in. Yeah, also if you just click partial position, you can close a certain amount of how much you want to close basically, and do the same thing with the stop loss and the take profit. So again, I'm not giving you any strategies here. I'm just showing you how to use the platform and how to navigate your way around. Again, you must know how to trade charts. All this is well and good, but know how to trade charts. Anywho, the next bit you can do is you can click close. So I always say close your entry, right? So let's say my entry was on this position. I don't know what it is, but let's say I want to close it at $250. There we go. Close $250. That will then go back into my piggy bank of availability. If I want to close all of it, I just hit that button and then it closes all of it. And then that's back into my piggy bank of availability, right? So that's profit that I'm making. If you want to reverse, I don't really use reverses because I just hedge instead. So we'll leave reverse out for this momentarily. But that's basically the basics of that. Now, actually taking the trade, coming back to this bit, so I kind of jumped the gun a bit. Different coins will have different availability of leverage, right? So Popcat has 75. Pomkey, for instance, has only 25. So if I took out a Ponky long, I could take it out at 25x. If I want to adjust my leverage, I can do, but it doesn't really do anything unless I make a further additional trade. So let's say I'm on currently a 3x and I want to go to like 50x, right? This does allow you to do it. I don't know why it's been a bit weird. Okay, I don't know why the demo account's not allowing me to do it, but you can actually adjust the leverage and can go higher. I think for the purposes of this demo account, it's just been a bit bizarre. So you can up the leverage and then take out a further position on a higher leverage. Now, the other things that we want to look at are limit orders. So let's just say we're using Popcat as an example, right? Popcat, there's a demand zone at 21.51. So what we can do is we can put 21.51 and you know what, let me change it on cross. See if that changes it. 46, whatever, there we go. Right, let's say I want to put 2 or 3% margin down. Okay, I'll put a bit more. So we put this order in at 21.51. So we've got an open order there that when Popcat hits 21.51, this will get filled, right? That's how you use limit orders. And conversely, you can use it for shorting as well. So if we looked at the Popcat chart and let's say Popcat went to 23.35, right? We could short it. So if we put 23.35 and we put short, that order will go through. So whenever it hits that level, that's when it will take it out of the equity. You can also cancel the orders. So cancel and cancel. You can also adjust them as well. So you're like, I don't know if it's going to hit there. I think I might come down a bit lower at 2300. Just click 2300. So you can click that pencil icon, 2300. Also within that, whenever you take it out, you can already put your let's say I buy here and I want to sell at 2300. So I'm buying, let's say I market buy here. And then I'm saying I want to take profit around there. Then you can do that as well. Okay. So just a few little things that you can do as a beginner and mess around with it. It is that very simple. Funding tells you how much they charge you, and they normally charge you every, I think it's 8 hours, 6 to 8 hours, something like that. There's a funding rate to hold your actual position. This order flow is something I'm going to teach you about in one of my strategies, so I'll leave that till the next video. But I think that's a whistle-stop tour of how to navigate and actually use leverage and an exchange such as Blowfin. They all look like this. They all look very similar. Mexi, Femex, WeX, Kraken, Coinbase Pro, they all look like this, or very similar to this type of style on your phone, also on the PC. So don't think that, oh, I have to use Blowfin. You don't, because if you're in the UK or in the US, there might be restrictions on the specific jurisdiction where you're at that you can use within your vicinity for central exchange. So there might be sanctions, basically country sanctions, so you can't use it, or it's not regulated by the SEC, FCA, whatever it might be within your jurisdiction. Okay guys, that is part 3 wrapped up. That's how you take trades. I might even just leave these on just for the lols. And we will come back in a part 4, and I'll start with the more intermediate stuff.